Welcome, rare gems. Have you ever tried to put a Sigma female down only to realize too late that you underestimated her? People often think shaming someone will break them, but a Sigma female does something completely different. She doesn't argue or plead. She doesn't cry or lash out. Instead, she watches, listens, and learns. Every word thrown at her, every attempt to make her feel small, becomes fuel for her growth. She uses your negativity like a stepping stone, turning it into power you never expected. A Sigma female has an inner compass that no insult can shake. She knows her value and refuses to let anyone redefine it. When you try to shame her, she doesn't just survive it, she thrives because she understands that other people's opinions do not dictate her reality. While you hope to see her stumble, she is quietly building, improving, and preparing for a future where your words have no hold over her. She transforms humiliation into motivation and turns doubt into determination. Her response is not loud or aggressive, it is calm, measured, and unstoppable. She makes you regret underestimating her not with confrontation, but with results. You will notice her rise, her confidence, and the way she moves through life untouched by the attempts to diminish her. If you ever think you can break a Sigma female with shame, think again. She will show you that true strength does not come from fighting back, but from rising above, silently, powerfully, and irreversibly. Let's dive into it, the rare gems. Number 1. While you focus on her flaws, she is silently improving, becoming a version of herself that leaves you irrelevant. Have you ever tried to put someone down only to realize later that it made no difference at all? That is exactly what happens with a Sigma female. While others waste time focusing on her flaws or trying to point them out, she is quietly improving herself. She does not announce her progress, she does not demand recognition, and she certainly does not fight to prove you wrong. She simply works on herself, bit by bit, step by step, until the version of her that emerges leaves you irrelevant. Imagine this. You spend your energy criticizing her, trying to highlight mistakes, pointing out weaknesses. Meanwhile, she takes those moments as lessons, not excuses. Every insult, every attempt to shame, every sideways comment becomes a mirror showing her what does not matter, what she can control, and what she can let go of. She is like someone tending a garden while the world throws stones at it. By the time you realize your words had no effect, she has already grown stronger, sharper, and more capable. Her growth is subtle, but undeniable. She develops skills, strengthens her mind, and hones her focus. She becomes someone whose presence commands attention, not because of noise or confrontation, but because of accomplishment. You notice it in small things. The confidence in her tone during a conversation, the calm in her decisions, the clarity in her goals. Each step she takes reminds you that your attempt to shame her only pushed her forward. This is why trying to break a Sigma female with words is a mistake. She transforms negativity into power, doubt into determination, and criticism into clarity. You might think you are affecting her, but in truth, she is building herself into a version of a person you cannot touch or influence. By the time you realize it, she has already moved past the point where your opinion matters. So remember, shaming her does not weaken her. It strengthens her resolve and her journey. And while you are still stuck on your attempts, she has already become someone you cannot compete with. Number 2. Every attempt to shame her becomes a lesson for you on patience, humility, and respect. Have you ever noticed how some people try to put others down and think it will give them power? That is exactly what happens when someone tries to shame a Sigma female. Every insult, every sarcastic comment, every attempt to make her feel small ends up teaching the person throwing it a lesson instead. She does not react in anger or frustration. She observes, she absorbs, and she grows. And in doing so, she forces you to face your own impatience, your own lack of understanding, and your own limitations. Picture this. Someone criticizes her in a meeting, mocks her choices in a conversation, or tries to undermine her in front of others. While the world expects a reaction, she does something unexpected. She listens carefully, not to argue, but to understand. Your attempt to shame her reveals more about you than it ever does about her. She notices how quick you are to judge, how little you understand resilience, and how much you underestimate the quiet strength of someone fully in control of themselves. Each moment you try to diminish her becomes a mirror reflecting your own flaws. The power of a Sigma female is subtle but undeniable. She transforms negativity into insight and uses it to sharpen her focus. Instead of letting your words pull her down, she turns them into tools for growth. Your impatience teaches her patience, your condescension teaches her humility, and your lack of respect shows her exactly how valuable it is to carry herself with integrity. By the time you realize your attempts have had no effect, she has already moved ahead, stronger and wiser. Your efforts to shame her do not break her. They elevate her, and at the same time, they expose the weaknesses in the one who tries. In everyday life, this is what makes her untouchable. Every word meant to hurt only strengthens her resolve and teaches you lessons you did not expect to learn. Trying to shame a Sigma female is never a victory. It is an education, and she will always be the one benefiting from it. Number 3. Instead of defending herself, she acts, letting results speak for her power. Have you ever noticed how some people waste all their energy defending themselves while others simply move forward? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles attempts to shame her. Instead of arguing, explaining, or trying to prove herself, she focuses on action. She lets results speak louder than words ever could. Every insult thrown her way, every attempt to diminish her presence becomes irrelevant, because she is too busy creating outcomes that make her power undeniable. Imagine this. Someone doubts her skills at work, or questions her decisions in a personal situation. Many would react immediately, trying to defend themselves, but not her. She does not argue or complain. She observes, plans, and executes. Hours later, the results are clear. A project she led succeeds, a problem she solved shows her competence, or a goal she set is accomplished flawlessly. The proof of her abilities does not need explanation. It stands on its own. And suddenly the person who tried to shame her realizes their words meant nothing. This approach is what makes her unstoppable in everyday life. She understands that words are temporary, but results leave a permanent mark. You might see her quietly at work, consistently improving her skills, helping others, or building something meaningful. Others may underestimate her in the moment, but the evidence accumulates, showing her power in ways that cannot be argued with. Let's take a simple example. Someone spreads rumors to tarnish her reputation. Instead of reacting or confronting the situation publicly, she focuses on her projects, her ambitions, and her craft. Over time, the results speak so loudly that people forget the rumors ever existed. The attempt to shame her backfires because her actions demonstrate a level of capability and composure that no words can match. This is the essence of a Sigma female. She knows that defending herself is often a waste of energy. Acting, delivering, and achieving makes her influence and power obvious. She does not need validation. She does not need arguments. She simply lets life prove what she is capable of, and that proof is always unforgettable. Number 4. She transforms humiliation into motivation, quietly achieving things you will never anticipate. Have you ever tried to put someone down, only to realize that your words made them stronger? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles humiliation. Instead of letting embarrassment or criticism stop her, she turns it into fuel for her ambitions. Every attempt to make her feel small becomes a spark that lights a fire within her. She does not complain, she does not seek sympathy, she simply uses the moment to push herself further than you could have imagined. Think about it like this. Someone spreads a rumor about her or mocks her efforts. Most people would react with anger or sadness, not her. She quietly takes it in, analyzes it, and channels it into her work, her passions, or her goals. She might start learning a new skill, perfecting something she already does, or creating opportunities that leave people stunned. By the time you notice, the woman you tried to humiliate has grown into a version of herself you never saw coming. It is in the everyday moments that this power shows. You might see her showing up earlier than anyone else to practice, or staying late to finish something perfectly. You might hear about her successes secondhand, achievements that feel impossible until you realize she has been quietly building them all along. Every setback, every snide comment, every doubt thrown her way becomes a building block for her next move. Here is an example. Someone ridicules her ideas in a meeting, hoping to undermine her confidence. Instead of arguing, she takes the criticism, improves her plan, and delivers results that not only impress others but prove her critics completely wrong. That is the quiet, unstoppable power of transformation. A Sigma female knows that humiliation is temporary, but the strength it can inspire is permanent. She does not just recover, she evolves. She turns the negative energy directed at her into achievements that astonish and inspire. And while others are busy mocking, she is busy winning, silently, powerfully, and in ways that you never expected. Number 5. She observes without judgment but never forgets, making your misstep a permanent lesson. Have you ever tried to get under someone's skin, only to realize later that nothing you did mattered? That is exactly what happens when someone attempts to shame a Sigma female. She observes everything, not with anger or quick judgment, but with a quiet, unwavering awareness. Every insult, every slight, every attempt to make her feel small is noted, catalogued, and stored. And while she may not react in the moment, she never forgets. Your misstep becomes a permanent lesson, not just for you, but for her. Picture this. Someone tries to manipulate her in a conversation, tests her patience, or spreads negativity about her. Many would respond with an immediate reaction, a sharp retort, or visible frustration. She does none of that. She listens carefully, notices your patterns, and evaluates the situation. You might think you have successfully shaken her, but in reality, she is storing the information, turning it into insight. Every careless word you utter teaches her about character, intention, and human behavior. This is what makes her untouchable in everyday life. While others are busy reacting to what is thrown at them, she is quietly learning, growing, and preparing for situations far beyond your imagination. Your attempts to shame her become lessons in patience, self-control, and discernment. Over time, she uses what she learns to navigate challenges with a level of clarity and precision that leaves people astonished. Let's take a real-world example. Someone tries to undermine her at work by questioning her ideas. Instead of confronting them in the heat of the moment, she remembers the interaction, studies the context, and later responds with results that prove her point without a word wasted. The person who tried to shame her walks away with the realization that their efforts were futile, and the lesson they taught her has now empowered her even further. A Sigma female never holds grudges, but she never forgets. She transforms every slight into knowledge, every insult into insight, and every misstep from others into permanent lessons that make her stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Number 6. She doesn't flinch when you try to cut her down because she already knows her worth. Have you ever tried to insult someone and noticed that it has absolutely no effect on them? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles attempts to cut her down. She does not flinch. She does not get defensive, and she does not waste energy trying to prove herself. She already knows her worth, and that knowledge makes her untouchable. Your words might sting others, but to her, they are nothing more than background noise, unable to pierce the armor of her self-awareness. Imagine this. Someone tries to belittle her in a conversation or mocks her choices. Most people would react immediately, feeling the need to justify themselves or fight back. She does not. She absorbs the moment, reflects, and moves forward. Knowing her value gives her an inner strength that is visible in subtle ways. You might see it in her calm tone, the way she handles challenges, or how she navigates life without letting negativity slow her down. Her sense of self-worth is not based on others' approval. It is built from experience, discipline, and a deep understanding of her own abilities. While others are busy trying to tear her down, she is focused on what really matters: growth, learning, and achieving her goals. Every insult, every attempt to shame her, only reinforces her clarity about who she is and what she is capable of. Here is a simple illustration. Someone at work criticizes her project, expecting her to stumble. She listens, acknowledges the feedback if necessary, and then delivers results that speak for themselves. Her confidence and competence leave the critic speechless. The attempt to cut her down has failed, not because she fought back, but because she already knew her worth and acted accordingly. A Sigma female does not need to defend her value. It is evident in her actions, her composure, and the quiet way she carries herself through life. Trying to shake her only shows you how strong she already is, and by the time you realize it, she has moved forward, leaving your words completely powerless. Number 7. Your words bounce off her like water off stone. She builds strength from every attempt to weaken her. Have you ever noticed how some people try to hurt others with words, expecting a reaction, only to see them completely unaffected? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles attempts to weaken her. Your insults, criticisms, and attempts to shame her do not stick. They bounce off her like water off stone. Instead of breaking her, every attempt to bring her down becomes a source of strength. Picture this in everyday life. Someone tries to humiliate her at work, gossip about her choices, or undermine her in a conversation. Most people would feel shaken, upset, or angry. She does none of that. She remains calm, observing and absorbing, but not absorbing in the way that leaves her hurt. She takes the situation as a lesson, understanding what it reveals about the other person, and then uses it to sharpen herself. Every negative word becomes fuel for her growth. It is like she has built an invisible shield of confidence and self-awareness. The more people try to weaken her, the stronger she becomes. If someone doubts her abilities, she does not argue. She focuses on results, skill building, and actions that make the doubt irrelevant. If someone tries to shame her decisions, she turns it into a learning opportunity and comes out more resilient, more capable, and more prepared for challenges ahead. Here is an illustration. Someone criticizes her in a team project, hoping to see her falter. She listens, takes what is useful, discards what is irrelevant, and later delivers a solution that exceeds expectations. Your attempt to weaken her does not leave a mark. Instead, it strengthens her reputation and shows her ability to rise above negativity without a word wasted. A Sigma female does not need to fight back or prove herself to anyone. She builds strength quietly, persistently, and powerfully. Your words cannot break her. They can only make her stronger. And in the end, your attempt to weaken her only demonstrates her unstoppable resilience. Number 8. Her confidence is magnetic. Those who doubt her end up admiring her without realizing it. Have you ever met someone who seems to quietly draw attention without even trying? That is the essence of a Sigma female's confidence. Her confidence is magnetic. It is not loud or demanding, but it is undeniable. People notice it instinctively, even if they do not fully understand why. Those who doubt her abilities or question her choices often end up admiring her without even realizing it. Imagine this in a simple, everyday scenario. She walks into a meeting with a plan she has worked on tirelessly. Some colleagues may initially doubt her ideas or underestimate her capabilities. Yet, as she explains her approach calmly and clearly, the doubts fade. By the end, those same people who questioned her are nodding, impressed by her clarity, poise, and insight. They do not even see the effort she put in behind the scenes. They only notice the results and the quiet strength she exudes. Her confidence is built on preparation, experience, and self-awareness. It is a confidence that comes from knowing what she is capable of and trusting herself to handle challenges with skill and grace. Unlike people who seek approval or reassurance, she projects a steady certainty that is impossible to ignore. You might not hear her boasting or demanding recognition, but her actions speak volumes. Consider everyday life outside work. In a social setting, she listens, observes, and contributes thoughtfully. Even if someone initially doubts her social intelligence or influence, they end up valuing her perspective and respecting her presence. That magnetic quality makes people naturally drawn to her, often without realizing why they are intrigued or impressed. This is the power of a Sigma female. Her confidence does not just protect her from negativity or doubt, it transforms skeptics into admirers and challenges into opportunities to shine. She does not need to prove herself aggressively. Her quiet certainty, combined with her actions and results, is enough to make anyone recognize her strength, even if they do so unconsciously. And number 9. She holds no grudges but never forgets betrayals, turning every slight into a strategic advantage. Have you ever tried to betray someone, thinking they would forget it, only to realize later that it backfired? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles betrayals. She holds no grudges outwardly. She does not act on anger or seek revenge, but make no mistake, she never forgets. Every betrayal, every slight, every attempt to undermine her becomes a lesson she carries with her. And she uses it wisely, turning every negative experience into a strategic advantage. Imagine this in everyday life. Someone at work spreads false information about her or takes credit for her ideas. Many people would react impulsively, lash out, or hold resentment. She does none of that. She observes, analyzes the situation, and quietly recalibrates her approach. She remembers who acted against her, how it happened, and what it revealed about them. Over time, she uses that knowledge to navigate her environment more effectively, avoiding pitfalls, building alliances with care, and positioning herself in ways that make betrayal nearly impossible to happen again. Her strength lies in subtlety and precision. She does not waste energy fighting battles that do not matter. Instead, she uses the lessons from betrayal to plan her next moves strategically. This allows her to stay several steps ahead of those who think they can take advantage of her. Every slight she encounters becomes a tool she uses to grow stronger and smarter. Let's take an illustration. Someone spreads rumors to sabotage her progress. She listens, observes the reactions, and quietly works on her goals. Later, her results speak for themselves. The person who betrayed her realizes too late that the attempt only highlighted her resilience and intelligence. She did not retaliate openly, but she turned the situation into a strategic advantage that benefited her far more than it hurt her. A Sigma female's memory of betrayal is not fueled by bitterness, but by clarity and foresight. She transforms every negative experience into insight, using it to protect herself, strengthen her position, and ensure that she is always several steps ahead. Those who underestimate her discover that betrayal against her is not weakness, it is a lesson she turns into power. Number 10. She does not engage in petty battles, yet her victories are undeniable and unmistakable. Have you ever noticed someone who never gets dragged into arguments or petty conflicts, yet somehow always comes out on top? That is exactly how a Sigma female operates. She does not waste her energy on small battles, on gossip, or on trying to prove herself to people who do not matter. Yet her victories are undeniable and unmistakable. You cannot ignore them, even if you tried. Think about this in everyday life. A colleague may try to compete with her, talk behind her back, or challenge her unnecessarily. Most people would react with defensiveness, engaging in a back and forth, and sometimes losing focus on what really matters. She does not. She stays focused, works hard, and lets her results speak. Over time, her achievements stand out so clearly that everyone notices them, and any attempt to belittle her becomes meaningless. Her strength is quiet but powerful. She understands that time and energy are her most valuable resources. Wasting them on petty battles does not align with her goals. Instead, she channels that energy into improving herself, achieving her ambitions, and building influence through competence and consistency. While others are distracted by conflicts, she is steadily moving forward, and that is what makes her victories so striking. Here is a real-life example. Someone may spread rumors to undermine her reputation. Instead of engaging or retaliating, she focuses on delivering excellence in her work. Months later, the results are undeniable. She is recognized for her contributions, while the person who tried to challenge her fades into the background. The victory is clear and unmistakable, not because she fought loudly, but because she acted strategically and consistently. A Sigma female proves her power not through noise or confrontation, but through results, consistency, and composure. She rises above petty conflicts and achieves in ways that are impossible to ignore. Her victories are proof that strength is not measured by arguments won, but by goals achieved and respect earned. Number 11. She transforms criticism into clarity, identifying what truly matters and discarding the rest. Have you ever noticed how some people let criticism drag them down, cloud their judgment, or shake their confidence? A Sigma female does the exact opposite. She transforms criticism into clarity. Instead of letting negative words distract or discourage her, she uses them as a tool to separate what truly matters from what is noise. Every comment, every opinion, and every piece of feedback becomes a way to sharpen her focus and strengthen her understanding of herself and her goals. Picture this in everyday life. Someone questions her decisions or points out flaws in her work. Most people might react defensively, argue, or dwell on the negativity. She does none of that. She listens, analyzes the criticism, and extracts the part that is useful. She discards what is irrelevant or coming from ignorance, and she uses the rest to make better choices, refine her strategy, and improve her performance. Your attempt to criticize her becomes a gift she turns into insight, not a weapon against her. This approach shows remarkable intelligence and emotional control. She does not allow unnecessary drama to cloud her judgment. She prioritizes what matters and lets go of distractions. By doing so, she moves faster, acts more decisively, and avoids wasting energy on things that have no value. Here is an illustration. Someone comments negatively on her project, hoping to shake her confidence. Instead of reacting emotionally, she takes the constructive parts, improves her project, and delivers results that exceed expectations. The critic is left wondering how she turned what was meant to hurt her into a clear advantage. That is the power of transforming criticism into clarity. A Sigma female's ability to identify what truly matters allows her to focus on long-term success, personal growth, and meaningful impact. She does not let outside voices define her, but she does let useful insights guide her. In doing so, she moves forward with unmatched precision, turning every attempt to criticize her into a stepping stone toward even greater achievement. Number 12. In the end, she doesn't just survive your shame. She rises above it, leaving you wondering if you ever truly understood her. Have you ever tried to shame someone and expected them to falter, only to see them rise stronger than ever? That is exactly how a Sigma female handles it. In the end, she does not just survive your attempts to shame her. She rises above them completely. Your words, your judgments, and your efforts to diminish her have no lasting impact, because she carries herself with a strength that comes from knowing her own worth and purpose. Picture this in everyday life. Someone tries to embarrass her at work, belittle her achievements, or question her decisions. Many would feel shaken, dwell on the criticism, or even retaliate. Not her. She absorbs the moment, reflects, and turns the situation into an opportunity to improve, to learn, and to grow. By focusing on action and results instead of drama, she transforms what was meant to hurt her into a stepping stone toward something greater. Her rise is subtle but unmistakable. It might show in the way she excels at her work, the confidence in her conversations, or the calm way she handles challenges that would overwhelm others. She does not boast or seek attention for overcoming adversity, but the results speak for themselves. Those who tried to shame her eventually realized their efforts were wasted, leaving them puzzled and in awe of her resilience. Here is an illustration. Someone mocks her abilities during a meeting, hoping to see her stumble. Later, she delivers a project with such precision and success that everyone remembers her competence instead of the moment of ridicule. By the time the dust settles, she has moved beyond the shame, achieving something that leaves others questioning whether they ever really understood her strength, her focus, and her determination. A Sigma female's ability to rise above shame is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving to herself that nothing external can control her, weaken her, or slow her down. She transforms every attempt to diminish her into evidence of her unstoppable resilience, leaving a lasting impression that is impossible to ignore. In final words, have you ever underestimated someone and realized far too late that you made a huge mistake? That is exactly what happens when you try to shame a Sigma female. Your words, your attempts, your efforts to cut her down do not break her. They cannot touch her core because she knows her worth, she knows her strength, and she knows exactly what she is capable of. Instead of reacting, she observes, she learns, and she transforms every attempt to weaken her into fuel for her growth. She does not need to argue, prove herself, or seek revenge. She acts, she achieves, and she lets the results speak for her power. Every insult becomes motivation, every criticism becomes clarity, and every betrayal becomes insight that makes her smarter and more unstoppable. The person who thought they could diminish her ends up learning lessons about patience, respect, and humility without even realizing it. This is a reminder for everyone watching. True strength is quiet, persistent, and undeniable. It is not about loud victories or immediate reactions. It is about rising above challenges, staying focused on what matters, and letting your actions speak louder than words ever could. If you ever feel belittled, criticized, or misunderstood, take a page from the Sigma Female's book. Turn negativity into fuel, criticism into clarity, and attempts to shame you into a reason to grow. Let every challenge you face make you stronger, sharper, and more capable than before. In the end, trying to shame her does not destroy her. It only reveals her power, her resilience, and her ability to rise above anything life throws at her. And by watching her, you are reminded that true strength does not come from proving others wrong, but from proving to yourself that nothing can hold you back. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.